Welcome back to the Rock Unplugged, AHS. I'm Mason Baki.
And I'm Jacob Hoxie. What you're about to see is a compilation of some of our favorite segments from this year, intermixed with some independent films, as well as interviews from our staff members.
To start us off, we're going to be taking a look at some segments focused on the lives of our students and teachers and all that they have going on.
Godspeed, soldier.
Last Monday, Senior Assassins started. This AHS tradition arms seniors with Nerf guns and then sends them out to take out their target. Once you get hit, you're out. We sat down with Gabe Apple, as well as two seniors, to learn more about the game.
So, I was walking down the hall a couple weeks ago, and Maddie, Carlstrom, and Sadie Levitt were like, hey, do you want to start running Senior Assassin or put it on? And I was like, yeah, not knowing what it entailed. So then I had to figure out, get people signed up and make some rules for it, and it was actually a lot more work than I thought it was gonna be. There was 6 paragraphs of rules. Pretty much this can't happen on school property because of liability issues, they can't put it on at all. That's pretty much one of the biggest ones, but not going into businesses, don't get the cops involved. You can't unless you're invited onto someone's property, you can't come onto someone's house or into someone's house and shoot them.
It's time. We're walking here into Walmart. We got outdoor living, prime location for the toy segment. We're about to go acquire our arsenal.
Me and Mason, we're on a team, and the strategy this year, which is different than most years, where it's usually one-on-one, someone's hunting you and then you're hunting someone else. We've got a sort of team situation where we can work together, and we have to take out another team of 2 people, and we've got 2 people on our backs.
We have pretty much just done a lot of information gathering, talking to a lot of different teams. We have pitted some teams against each other without them knowing. We have arranged some things that have kind of worked in our favor, and we've been practicing a lot.
We strapped up. We got bullets, guns.
Sadly, Mason was eliminated on Tuesday.
When I went for an assassination, it was fairly dark. A lot was happening. They could have gotten hit without me knowing. I don't care. But I got hit, and I called it. Me and Zayna talked it over. He's pretty much just gonna do it himself. I am still offering my services to him, whatever he needs. I'm still gathering information just by myself. No spoilers, but I'm working behind the scenes with a lot of different people. So it's gonna get interesting.
So I actually devised a multitasking test that was a series of questions, and some students were in a quiet room and some students were in a room with ultimate fails playing on YouTube, and same set of questions. And I said what I wish we could do is something with texting and driving, kind of the ultimate test of multitasking with really high consequences. A student said, why don't we just do Mario Kart? And everybody chuckled, and then I thought, actually that's a pretty good idea.
So what happened was the first round, you just got used to the controller. Second round, they timed the lap to see how fast you did it, and then third round, you had to text someone while you drove in Mario Kart.
I'm not really one for texting and driving. I mean, I've caught myself doing it multiple times.
I wish I could say that I haven't, but I definitely have.
I don't know about being guilty because I've never been caught, but yeah, I have done it.
I'll plead the 5th. I'll take the 5th on this one.
I don't have a lot of experience texting and driving. I expected to show poorly.
So I thought I was gonna smoke everyone, if I'm being honest with you.
I thought I'd do all right because I'm kind of used to texting while I drive now.
I'm pretty savvy at Mario Kart. I thought I was going to do pretty well, and that was not the case.
I thought I was gonna get first. I did.
I failed miserably. Came around a corner and then tried to fire off a text, Everything went downhill.
Came in 4th out of 4 people, which was kind of a letdown.
Definitely crashed about 3 or 4 times, hit the wall, smoked Mel, but...
I ended up in the water like 10 times, and I didn't even know.
There was one outlier who did better driving while texting, and all other students, their performance dropped way off.
This simulation has kind of proven like, oh, swerving all over the road just to get in one last text isn't really worth it.
I think the reality is that most of us, all but the most disciplined people, have done it. What concerns me about texting and driving, it's not a perfectly normal circumstance that gets you into trouble while you may be texting. It's when something unexpected comes up. If a car pulls in front of you, or maybe it's a kid runs into the street, and if you're looking down even just for a second, that's the difference between safety and catastrophe.
Before this, like, you see all the statistics and stuff, but you never actually realize how distracted you get. And so doing the experiment showed us it's a real thing.
I'm Mason Baki reporting from the Anacortes Middle School gym, where the staff versus student basketball game is about to get underway.
The senior staff game has been going for 15 consecutive years. I don't know if it had been going before that, but we've had it for 15 years. The ASB class started doing it when I became the advisor. I don't know if it had been done before, but I know 14 out of the last 15 years we've done it. It's a fun activity for seniors and staff, and we get a wide variety of levels of experience playing, which makes it a lot of fun. It's an easy game to play, so it's been very popular.
I'm a little nervous, can't lie. Not that great at basketball, but I'm trying, so. We want to be the staff a lot, so everybody's coming out that can play basketball at all. McCartney and Andridge are still pretty young to the team, so I think that mentally they might not be prepared for tonight.
Mr. McCartney is definitely somebody who needs to be shut down, otherwise we'll dominate the game. He's also younger than the rest of us, so that helps. We'll miss Miss Fankhauser due to her toe surgery.
Hancock got put in the Hall of Fame recently for playing at college, so he has a lot of pressure on him, so supposedly he should be the best, but he might choke. He's a choker, so.
My plan is I'm just gonna get right into Court's grill, because I can beat him up. And then as soon as he beats me, I'm just gonna push him over. And then I'll do that again. And I think I can cover, I can take Dwayne that way as well. Mr. Rongren's gonna do the same with his daughter. I think that the most important people are Cassie Osley and Abby Davis, because they're the coaches. So if they win, it's gonna be all because of coaching.
The staff continued their reign, winning the game by 7 points.
I enjoyed matching up on students who I have, and it's a good time. I think I was part of a good team tonight, and the team played well, and we had to give it everything we had. There were 8 of us, and we got it done.
Anything to say to the staff?
Next year I'm coming back. I'm not graduating.
For the Rock at Anacortes High School, I'm Mason Baki.
There's your hot dog. Thank you. Ketchup and mustard down there.
Thank you. Ryan Haar and Will McClintock might not be old enough to have their own driver's license, but what they do have might surprise some people. The two own their own hot dog cart, dubbed Frugal Dog. We sat down with them to gain more insight into why they wanted to enter the business world.
I was just doing some research on Costco for fun, and I learned that Costco started out as a hot dog stand in San Diego in like 1960 or 1980 or something like that. And first of all, the thing they sold was a hot dog and a soda for $1.50, and that's why they still sell that at any Costco you go to. But I thought, well, I could probably make a lot of money selling hot dogs as well. And so I looked at how much it cost to buy the ingredients, and I realized that it was a really good business. So I stayed up really late planning it, and I called my partner Will the next day to come over, and I pitched the idea to him. And then we made the business from there.
I was recruited by him into the business, and then from there we kind of took off and started calculating the margins and the profits, and then figured it would be a good idea, started up. I'm the one that the health inspectors come to and email and for all the permits, but he does all the like the shopping trips and helped on the design of the cart.
The hardest part for me was probably just taking the financial risk to start it, because it was $600 that if it didn't work out, I would have to pay out of my own pocket to my mom. So that was a little bit scary, but honestly, it hasn't been that bad. It's been pretty successful for us. We've made about $2,200 of revenue so far, and the first $600 had to go to paying back my mom, because she was who gave us the loan to start the business in the first place. So we've profited at $800 currently. It would have been $1,400 if we took out the initial cost to start the business. One of the challenges starting this is, up to this point, we've had to get a temporary food permit for every event. Just because the year-round is $500 for the first year, then $200 every year after that, and a temporary one is $50. So when we started, we didn't want to start with $1,100. So we just got a temporary one, and we've saved up enough money now to buy our year-long one. Currently, we've only been selling at special events, like we sold at the tree lighting ceremony, we sold at some middle school dances, we sold at the band concert. We're working on raising enough money to expand our business, but currently we're just selling at special events.
It's just kind of like an extracurricular, I guess, kind of like a sport or something that you just kind of do on the side. And I mean, whenever we have time, we sell.
I definitely think we found a lot more success being high schoolers, because people are much more likely to encourage kids to make a business, when if we were adults, I feel like they would be less sympathetic and wouldn't buy as much, yeah.
For the Rock at Anacortes High School, I'm Jacob Hoxie.
We here at The Rock do like to have a little bit of fun every now and then.
Next up, we have a few lighthearted segments that might make some people laugh.
So, what are you doing for spring break?
I don't know, probably just hang out and do nothing.
But spring break is for having fun with friends.
I wouldn't even know what to do.
But there are so many options. For rainy days, reading a book is always a good idea. And the library has a great selection to choose from.
Hiking really lets you experience nature.
You could go biking!
Bacon.
She's touching his chest now. He takes off her dress now, letting me go. You know, you could always just travel through spring break. I'm actually headed off to Hawaii right now.
Mason, one of my favorite things about springtime is all the plants growing around. So why don't we plant our own plants here?
Man, I sure do love ice cream.
Cliff jumping is so fun! Go! Go! Holy crap! Oh, wow! Go! Can't do it, dude. It's not worth it! It's not worth it!
Enjoy the nice spring weather. Try hammocking.
Ow.
This is fun. Yeah.
I'll do this. Alright, so
Who are you?
We are
Wristfoot.
Wristfoot is good. Wristfoot. Some would call us great. Some would call us Wristfoot because that is our band name.
What was the question again?
Ready?
You know, I met the boys. We did School of Rock, yeah, over in Seattle, and then after School of Rock, me and Dominic and Vince started practicing a little bit, and then more recently, Gavin joined us as the vocalist.
We've been together for, I'd say at least a week, probably more. I think our competition is weak.
That's a tall.
I wouldn't say that. I'd say that they're especially gifted. Not in a bad way.
We usually get along until Gavin starts biting.
That's when you know that we've gone too long.
Yeah.
We're lucky to have all these boys because they're pretty knowledgeable. You know, we're all pretty competent and agreeable, and that's really nice when it comes to practicing. Yeah, I first started playing piano back when I was like 9 or 10, I think, and then I first got my bass guitar in around 6th grade, and that's when I first started playing bass guitar.
Me, probably like 8 years, self-taught, I want to say.
I really like guitar playing and drum playing. I didn't start playing drums until about 7 years ago. Quite a good time. We all have a common love for music, and we try to express that through our music.
And each other.
Yeah, I love these guys.
You know, some people, music, they're bad. Not us. We're good.
To Santa, from Eddie. Dear Santa, I never get any of the gifts I ever asked for. So this year, I'm gonna make sure that you get my list by sending myself with it. I guess we'll see you soon.
Merry Christmas!
What is the name of your band to start off?
Jack Fruit! 60% Jack, 100% fruit, baby.
1, 2, 3, 4.
We've all been musically interconnected for a while, but we started this band when Rock the Island was announced.
It's something I think we've all wanted to do for a long time, and we've just gotten around to it this year. But I think we also just want to give people something they can connect to and really feel.
I really wanted us to have a different vibe from all the other bands that have done it in the past. And so I was like, well, what if we did more like a folky kind of Simon Garfunkel, Crosby, Stills and Nash kind of stuff.
When I'm doing vocals, I definitely take influences from Simon and Garfunkel, a little bit of Tracy Chapman, just, you know, folk artists from back in the day.
I think it's definitely been fun to kind of find myself in it again, because I kind of took a break and I used to play a lot more than I have over the last few months. But I think I've really been hitting it hard, and I think I've improved a lot, and it's been fun to see myself improve as well as the band.
I didn't think we were gonna get in. I thought everyone else was gonna win, you know? But when we got in, that gave me hope. Getting in was all I wanted. But now what's to come?
Grow up.
You're right.
Sometimes you just got like a lot to say, and there's no one to say it to. That's kind of where I started like writing music. Now, I mean, we're playing my songs as a band, and it's like, it's exciting to get the word out there, like even if it's just your word.
I really just want to perform in front of all the people that support us and people we know.
I don't have any like explicit goal for like the competition, like, yeah, we're gonna win this, because honestly, it's not about like winning for me necessarily. It's more so about having a fun experience on stage with some of my best friends and having a great time.
It's cool to get to know somebody through music, because you can know them as a good friend, or even like a really good friend. It's something different when you start playing music with them. There's a different connection there.
These guys are like the best friends I have, and I think I'd rather be the worst band in the world to be with these guys than be with anyone else. They all mean so much to me, and I'm just really excited to perform with them and show everyone else what we've created together.
And this was Jack.
60% Jack, 100% fruit, baby. It's all real. But I can't help but release the flood.
Roll that segment. Roll that segment.
Roll that segment.
Recently at AHS, a murmur has been spreading that administration is...
With the new ASB officers...
Amy, you messed it up!
Friday. Next year is...
Time slots start at 12 o'clock, so be sure to check your email to find out what time you've been scheduled for.
Me too. Remember, the festival is from 7 to 9 and it's $5 at the door.
Our very own Mr. McLean ran in the Boston Marathon last Monday, finishing the race in a mere 2 hours and 35 minutes.
Welcome back to The Rock, AHS. I'm John Harrison.
You get a question wrong, and you will have a nice spoonful of this hot sauce infused Miracle Whip.
Oh, happy birthday, Al Pacino.
Speaking of awesome, check out my shirt.
Wow, look, it's mistletoe,
It's mistletoe.
John. You know what that means.
You know what that means?
And then from our rock to yours,
Happy birthday,
Barbara Streisand. Barbara.
Happy birthday to you.
Wow, thanks, Mason. That was epic.
Deep breaths, deep breaths. But Connor, every single question incorrect.
What are you doing?
No, that's too much.
And from our rock to yours,
Have a great day, AHS.
Well, oh dang! PBS NewsHour Student Reporting Labs.
Oh, you may now wash it down with some delicious Sprite cranberry.
I'm just gonna wash it down with water.
We hope you. Can you come?
And with that, I'm Will McCracken.
I'm Connor Powell, and from our rock to yours, have a great day, AHS.
Give me some.
Woo! Woo!
My favorite memory of The Rock this year would have to be, I actually have to think about that.
Like a specific memory?
Yeah. Think about that for a second. What is my favorite memory of The Rock this year?
My favorite memory of The Rock this year would probably have to be the Christmas Rock.
My favorite memory of the rock class is probably working on the spring break segment.
My favorite memory is probably the Guerrilla Film Festival.
My favorite part of the Rock this year was probably the Christmas special.
Nifty was my favorite memory.
I think my favorite memory is when I went out with Eddie Clark and Mason Blackburn, and we drove around Eddie's car and we went around and hiked for the trail segment.
My favorite memory is probably when we took a field trip down to Seattle for the Nifty Film Festival.
My favorite memory was probably Nifty. I really enjoyed going to Seattle with the whole class and spending a day watching movies.
My favorite moment was probably either going down and watching films at Nifty, or just like the satisfaction of after you edit a segment and you're really proud of it and then it airs, and that's really cool.
It was just really interesting to meet new people and to watch all the different indies that have been made.
Just hanging out with some people that I'd never worked with before, Connor Powell, John Harrison, Will McCracken, and Jacob Oxley. I've always wanted to work with those guys because they make amazing films, amazing products, whether it's music, segments, anything. But they pushed me to be a better film creator and to realize how I work with other people.
Someone printed out a bunch of cards with their information on it. And they were handing them out to real live adults who worked in the field, and I was so impressed but also really intimidated, and it was just really cool to be able to see that kind of opportunity given to high school students.
I was a big fan of every one of Baki's segments where he just ran around and did a bunch of crazy stuff.
The senior video, as tiring and as just exhausting as it's been, has been a lot of fun.
While it didn't turn out so hot, it was really fun to work with everyone in the Rock individually, and I really got to know everyone while working on that segment, and it was just a really fun technical challenge, and I had to work really hard to make it work.
It was a lot of fun. Did that a couple times that week. Loved going out with Mason and Eddie and just walking around trails and filming. It was a blast.
We were able to go so free form with it and just not really care about criticism, worrying about what other people thought. I ate mayonnaise, Connor ate mayonnaise. It was fun.
They just had a lot of stuff to do, and it was really fun to watch. They had the cake bit where they're going through this nasty cake. I think Mason Baki made it.
I was sitting in my room watching the Nifty story when they were announcing the awards, and Jacob Hoxie texted me and said, "We won!" And my heart stopped. I was so excited. That was very exciting. And then I flipped through the story and saw them all standing there with the prize, and it was just, I don't know, I've never been part of a production like that before, and so that was really exciting.
Oh, that was a real funny batch of segments there, wasn't it?
It was. Our next segments focus on history, be it our school or our town.
There are few places in Anacortes that are as recognizable as the historic W.T. Preston boat. Being recognized as a National Historic Landmark in 1989, it is a frequent tourist attraction, with guided tours being carried out every day 3 seasons of the year. We got a tour from Maritime Heritage Center employee Stephanie Noir, who gave us some backstory on the important landmark, for the Preston has a more interesting history than one might imagine, one that could involve ghosts.
The ghost would probably be down here, and some of the previous docents have mentioned if they were sitting in the crew mess, which is kind of like the docent's office, or on a dark day, that they kind of feel a presence. You kind of feel like someone's watching you. And since on some of the crew lists, there was a lot of guys who worked on the boat named Jack, that's where we called the ghost Jack the Ghost. I'd be sitting in there trying to work on something, there's nobody else here, and it's kind of dark and spooky. And there was one day where there was a random clap of thunder, and it just kind of added to the boat creaks and you just think that somebody else is here. But on the earlier snag boats, the Skagit, which ran from 1883 to 1914, and the Swinomish, which ran from 1914 to 1939, we don't really have any really records of any deaths on those ones. And there are a lot of parts on this boat that are from the Swinomish. So if there are any ghosts, it probably transferred from the Swinomish onto this boat.
The Preston worked as a snag boat from 1929 to 1981. The boat's purpose was to remove debris such as large logs from rivers to clear up the pathway for other passing ships. The Preston, in fact, cleared out the debris of the sunken Swinomish before using its parts to become a Frankenstein's monster of boat's parts.
The ghost of the Preston is unsettling indeed. However, while tales of poltergeists may disturb, there are more creepy secrets that hide beneath the surface of Anacortes history. Sometimes, the most terrifying stories don't have any ghosts in them at all. It was a summer day like any other. The children were out playing, the air was hot, and Alfred Hawkins was drinking. It was a miracle the man was even sitting in the old McCracken bar at all. A military deserter who had served 2 reduced stints in jail for piracy and had narrowly escaped the hangman's noose for 2 different murders under the pretense that they were merely drunken feuds, Hawkins seemed to have a talent for getting himself in and then out of trouble. Yet trouble would yet again find the drunken man on that fateful day when a friend of his told Hawkins that he had heard of plans to rob the man, plans which Hawkins immediately attributed to an old rival, Billy Launderville. Hawkins promptly unsheathed his pistol and tracked Launderville to the local barber shop. Hawkins would spit enraged allegations in the confused man's face, allegations which Launderville was quick to deny. The ruckus gained the attention of City Marshal Charles Becker, who confronted the men in an attempt to quell the situation. This would prove to be a mistake, as Hawkins would simply shift his barrage of anger onto the marshal, whom would quickly realize that he was unarmed and Hawkins was not. Becker fled, and Hawkins chased the marshal to the center of town and into the Platt Building, straight up to the headquarters of the early Anacortes American. It was probably a horrifying surprise for the American's publisher, Douglas Almond, who found himself a fresh target of Hawkins' rage at the drunk's arrival, and it's likely that Almond would have died that day had lawyer David M. Woodbury not emerged from the office across the hall. Woodbury placed himself between Hawkins and Almond, and Hawkins' attention was shifted one final time. Maybe it was the alcohol, maybe it was the continually building anger, or maybe Hawkins was just done playing games. But Hawkins would open fire on Woodbury with little hesitation and then make a run for it. He wouldn't make it far though, and in his drunken state he tripped down the stairs and provided Becker with a prime opportunity to pin and arrest him. Woodbury held on to life for 3 more days before succumbing to his wounds. Hawkins, meanwhile, was hauled off to the city jailhouse. He was soon moved to the Mount Vernon City Court and then later the Whatcom County Court. His defense pleaded, as they had done once before, that Hawkins was not in a sound enough state of mind during the murder to justify punishment, and Hawkins himself would state that he had no memory of killing Woodbury at all, though it would seem as if justice had finally caught up with the man, and every court he went through reached the same unanimous conclusion. Hawkins was guilty, and would be sentenced to death by hanging. For many settlers, the West provided a chance to start life anew, and be better than you were in your old home. Hawkins stands as a character that was presented with every possible opportunity to change, escaping the death sentence and the swift hand of justice time and time again. But it seemed that not even divine intervention could change Hawkins, and the grave of David Woodbury stands as a testament to that. As he stood at the gallows, the executioner asked of Hawkins whether or not he had any last words. Hawkins sat for a moment before stating, "Nothing, I am here to die, hurry up. If you see any of the boys back in Anacortes, tell them it passed off good."
If you wander around downtown Anacortes, chances are you'll pass by one of the many murals painted by Bill Mitchell.
That's pretty good right there.
Beginning in 1984, Mitchell dedicated his life to preserving Anacortes history through his artistic talent. Recently, Mitchell passed away, but his legacy lives on. Brett Lunsford, director of the Anacortes Museum, decided to sit down with us and give some insight into Bill's life and the impact he had on the community.
He was injured in a car accident in 1971, and that was what put him in a wheelchair, but he talked about how, if it hadn't been for the accident, he would have never discovered what his true calling was, which was to be an artist, and really dedicated himself to it once he was in post-accident.
Hi,
and welcome to Evening Magazine. We are so happy to be in Anacortes tonight. A couple of things are going on. First, we have this special story on a local muralist who is also part historian. Bill Mitchell is behind
Bill's
these
work in Anacortes history really started with the 1979 centennial of Anacortes. Anacortes was founded in 1879 and they staged a celebration. He designed a flag for that. He wrote history columns and a series of cartoons that appeared in the Anacortes American where he was exploring those historical themes, and that's what he tended to be his focus throughout his remaining years. The Anacortes Renaissance and Revival Confederation was the group that formed as the team that did the mural project. And part of their goal was revitalization of downtown Anacortes at a time when there were a lot of empty storefronts and people didn't really keep their buildings up that well and not a lot of people visited. And so with his effort and the effort of businesses like Ghirardelli and others that were establishing down there in the 80s, they started to attract people downtown, and I think that to this day, Bill's murals are something that people visiting, they have interest in it, and they like to do selfies with them and just kind of take a tour of all the murals that are all over town.
For The Rock at Anacortes High School, I'm Jacob Hoxie.
Hello AHS, and welcome to a particularly special episode of No Rock Unturned. Today's episode will be highlighting The Rock, its past, its present, and its future. We hope you enjoy. The Rock was formed around 2003, and while still informing the school, the program was much different than anything we air now. The show ran for 40 minutes due to the schedule, which at the time consisted of large block periods, and was played through the VCRs of the classroom. Back then, The Rock was more laid back and featured not only informative segments, but also independent films. ASD 103, one of the independent films, follows teachers on a strange day at AHS.
Yeah! Alright, everybody listen up. It's time for the wheel suspension. Looks like the winner is Spencer McMillan, so...
Your dissection, and this is, we're going to be dissecting the cat today, so let's get started.
But Miss Swanson, our cat's still alive.
Oh, it's okay, just deal with it.
Darn it, Cameron, if I told you once, I told you 50 times. Stay away from Broadniak and quit the cigarettes. Gee.
And sometimes, even the segments seemed like indies. For example, in a segment about the new security cameras, which shows choreographed violence around the school.
Into several bullies that we hope to not have to talk to again about that. And we're quite proud of that the cameras have been very useful for stopping bullying. Stop as an accident. They're there to check to see if Jake Wakeman is parking up there in faculty parking. Like I think he did that once this year, didn't you, Jake? Yeah, he did once. But he doesn't do that anymore. He's real good about that.
Throughout the years that followed, The Rock got shorter and more frequent, while ditching the indies. This leads us to 2017, when Thompson made the decision to restructure The Rock with the addition of reporters. The Rock seems more professional than it ever has been now, but we're still not perfect. We need to work on our mistakes and our deadlines. But to end this on a bright note, The Rock will be getting a professional studio in the next year, so don't get used to the hallway set.
Well, we're usually in here probably every single minute of our spare time. Sometimes we end up spending the night working here. It's really stressful, and I mean, we work as a team. We're only in here during class time, and Mr. Thompson is a great, positive supporter. And yeah, it's really great making The Rock.
I always looked up to the seniors because they were so cool because they were seniors in The Rock and they did the senior video and all that. And now that's me, which is like, whoa, that's crazy.
Being a senior, what am I going to miss about the Rock?
Being a senior in the Rock has taught me a lot.
This class has been super helpful for me learning about how to tell a story, how to look at news in the media and understand how that process goes.
I think one of the biggest takeaways generally is learning how to work with other people.
I want to do news broadcasts in college. That's what I want to study. It's what I want to do. And like, I wouldn't know that was a thing if I hadn't joined the Rock and if Mr. Thompson hadn't recruited me and stuff. So I'm just grateful, and I've loved my time, and like everything I've learned here, it's been really invaluable.
Learning to work with other people on tight schedules with tight turnarounds, it's tough. It really is, and I struggle with it. But the Rock has really helped me, and continues to help people, kind of work through that and get better at working with people.
When I go off to college, when I kind of leave everything at Anacortes behind, the one thing that I'm going to really miss about the Rock is having a bunch of very talented, creative people all in one space for me to bounce ideas off of.
I've definitely learned time management. That's a big one, because there are strict deadlines with the Rock, because if you don't get your segment done by the time the Rock starts, your segment's not going to be there.
It's very good to have people to communicate with and to talk to and to say, hey, this is good, or hey, this idea really sucks, and to know that you're able to get that positive or negative feedback with honest, insightful, creative people.
Making something that you're proud of. That's what I'm going to miss.
Lots of people in our class enjoy making films outside of class time.
Here are some of our favorites from this year's Rock class. Well, what are you afraid of?
I don't know. I've been out of town for so long, and coming home, going back to that house, it just brings back a lot of bad memories, I guess.
Well, you know you have to go back.
Mary, it's not that simple.
You've come all this way, Jason. You're just not gonna finish what you started?
I can still turn back now.
So what, you're just gonna give up?
I mean, you remember it as well as I do. I was a teenager, I was stupid, I messed with things I couldn't control. And people got hurt. If you went through what I went through, the aftermath, the counseling, you'd understand why I had to leave.
Well, then you understand why you need closure. After this, there won't be anything keeping your mind here, and then the world is yours. You have to go back to that house. You just have to take these final steps.
You're right. Hey, Dad.
Hey, son.
I guess it's never really as bad as you imagine.
I've noticed something about people, Rachel. They're predictable. So predictable, you can tell everything you need to know about them by looking at their shoes. Look at this guy walking in. Dirty Nike tennis shoes. The aglets are still intact. Barely, but they're there. I bet he works a minimum wage job. Not something as fancy as in an office, but not a fast food worker either. He cares about his appearance enough to get good shoes, but he's not put together enough to keep them clean. He's a dog person. And I bet you money, Rachel, that he's going to order iced coffee, even though it's 35 degrees outside.
Can I have an iced coffee?
Called it. See what I mean, Rachel? People are simple. If you observe them closely enough, you know exactly who they are. So what's the point even getting to know them? Believe it or not, Rachel, but I followed this philosophy for longer than I'd like to admit. I mean, how could I not? There's another person walking in now. Let's take a look at them. Oh, this is too easy. She's the kind of person who thinks it's okay to wear Crocs in public. Anyway, this girl, her shoes, they're immaculately clean. To the point where it seems a little impossible. She must have more than one pair, which isn't too surprising considering the fancy schmancy private school she attends. Her shoes are the school colors after all. The fact that she's wearing them on her feet means that she must be dedicated to her academics.
Hello? Oh, hi Mom. Yeah, I'm almost done. Okay. Bye.
I should probably stop staring. I don't want to get mistaken for a creep, but they make it too easy, really. It's like they want you to know every part of their personality. But I don't get it, Rachel. What's the point? Why would you want to get to know someone if you already know them? There's no mystery, nothing worth finding out. And I thought that for so long. But you changed that. Look at this girl walking in. I guess I'm telling you this to let you know that the things you do make a difference. People notice the odd things. They notice the unordinary. And it helps them.
Hey, I grew up here, you know.
The weird inspires the weird, and it makes life so interesting. Does that make sense, Rachel?
I fall in love too easily. I fall in love too easily. I fall in love too easily. I fall in love too easily.
Who are you?
Is that how you greet everyone?
It was you, Rachel. I just need you to know that I appreciate you and everything that makes you different.
I fall in love too easily. I fall in love too easily. I fall in love too easily. I fall in love too easily.
Hey man, you ever just look up at the sky and the clouds and just see something?
No.
Seriously? Like, can't even make out a person or a place or anything?
No, dude. What am I, 6?
Well, I don't think being 6 has anything to do with it, man. It's just a natural human instinct.
Not for me. My mind's like a steel cage. It's going to take a lot to get through this bad boy.
You know what, man? I think you might have a problem with your creativity.
What are you talking about? I'm incredibly creative.
Really?
Yes, really.
Alright then. When was the last time you ever created something?
3 hours ago. I made some mac and cheese for lunch.
Jeez, man.
Okay, Mr. Creative. I'll humor you. What do you see in that cloud right there?
That cloud? Well, I see a dragon, but not the ferocious and uncivilized kind. I see a sophisticated dragon, you know? One that likes reading books, gardening, and fine wine.
I don't get how you get all of that from just a cloud.
Come on, don't you see it, man? Like, there's the head over there, and the wings over there, and the tail way back there.
Nope.
Okay then, what about that cloud right there?
What about it?
Well, do you see anything?
Yeah, I see something. I see a whole bunch of condensated water formed into a ball of white in the sky.
Well, I see a rubber duck. Like, look there. There's the outline of the body, and the beak, and everything.
What?
Come on. You gotta see what I'm talking about, right?
No, I don't. I don't see it.
You know what, man? I've had it up to here with you today. I mean, you've just been the most obstinate person I've ever met. I mean, come on, man. You gotta be creative at least one time in your life, or else you're not gonna get anywhere.
Whoa, whoa, whoa there, man. I'll do my best. Next time, I promise. I swear.
Fine. What about that cloud?
I see a square.
Seriously, you see a square?
Yeah, a square.
Come on, man. A 3-year-old could be more creative than that.
Actually, I see a chessboard. But not like one of those nice chessboards made out of mahogany and other nice wood. It's a crappy one they can get for $30 at a game store. But I think it's just a metaphor for life. Because, you know, we're all just playing this game. We're making big, important decisions, like what college we're going to go to, or making small, unimportant decisions, like what we're going to have for breakfast the next day. But we're all just making the same moves. We're all just in it for one thing. We all just want to win.
Wow. You got all that from a cloud?
Yeah, I did. Am I creative enough for you now?
Yeah, but I still don't get it.
What do you mean you don't get it? I just spent all that time coming up with how it looks like a chessboard, and you're just going to throw it out the window?
Whoa, whoa, whoa. At first you said it was a square, my guy.
Yeah, a square that can be part of a chessboard.
A square.
Yeah,
you know
a square. There are multiple colored squares in a chessboard.
I'm done with you today.
Oh, I've had it up to here.
I was the one who came up with the dragon.
Yeah,
you just come up with a shape, my guy.
Yeah, shape. That's a chessboard. That's an odd...
Hey, you okay?
Yeah. I guess I just don't really want to go home.
We still have one day left. Come on, let's have fun. You know what I'm thinking? I think there's something wrong with our air conditioner at home. It's making that weird, like, rattling sound, you know? Like, you know what I'm talking about, right? Like that weird, I don't know, I think we should probably call somebody about that, because it's, I don't know, I think it's like rickety. It's from like the 70s. Honey? Where'd you get that?
It was under my pillow.
What?
I don't know. I guess it was left by like the previous guest or something. It's one of those like Polaroid cameras, like the ones like instant.
Well, that looks like the perfect camera to begin my modeling career with.
Okay. Okay, smile.
I'm a model. Models don't smile.
Okay, don't smile. Ready? Okay, you can stop. I'm not gonna take another one.
Whoa. That bad? Whoa, gentle with the model.
Look.
Jesus.
Look. Look.
Holy shit.
This thing is insane. I mean, think about all the possibilities you could have with it.
I don't know. I think we should turn it into someone. Like, I don't know where that came from.
I mean, or
Jane.
we could just have fun with it.
Oh my god.
It would just be fun.
Jane. Jane, wait.
Which one?
Hey, you. Time to go home.
But what if we didn't go home?
What do you mean?
I mean, like, what if we just stayed here and lived off the camera? And we could do that forever.
You know we can't do that.
But why not?
Look, just give me the camera, all right?
No, I'm not giving you the camera.
Jane, give me the camera.
Give me the camera!
Mr. Thompson is a really cool teacher, and unlike any other that I've ever met, because his position is really unique.
He's a facilitator, but he also makes sure that we're on track and makes sure that we're enjoying the segments that we're making.
He gives us our own creative control, but whenever like something goes wrong or we need help, or like sometimes I don't know how to do certain editing things, and then he's more than willing to step in and help us with whatever we need.
But we're all hooligans, you know. We mess around a lot, and he's the guy that really keeps us on track.
Well, he's taught me a lot about filmmaking and generally how to behave in a professional manner.
He really cares about the segments that we make, and it's always really like heartbreaking when he doesn't like a segment or when he gets all disappointed in you, and it's just because he cares so much, and you can see that he cares so much, which makes you want to care like in return.
He'll say, hey, this part could be fixed, or hey, add this into it next time. And it gives us the ability to improve.
When you need him, he's always there, and he will always be there to help you out if you need him, or help you troubleshoot your issues while working on your segment.
He provides that for us in a magnificent and wonderful way that I don't think can really be replicated anywhere else.
He is there for us when we need to ask questions, and from those questions we only get better at the projects that we make.
Without Thompson, the Rock would definitely not exist. No one would be able to continue without him.
He's a really big part in the Rock. Like, he doesn't like saying it. Like, he always likes saying, like, you know, like, it's us that make the Rock, but it wouldn't be on the air if it wasn't for him.
Thank you for watching this year's Rock Unplugged.
And thank you for making it a great year for the Rock AHS. With that, I'm Jacob Hoxie.
And I'm Mason Baki. And from our rock to yours, have a great summer, AHS.